it comes to planning my activities, when it comes to should I work out or should I sleep in, those kind of things, I could do that too. I needed to build a will that was stronger than any of these impediments. Basically, as I say there, I wanted to become a zealot. You ever notice that people who are really gung-ho about something, there's no barriers that stand in their way. They knock walls over. They charge hell with a water pistol because they're zealous about what they're about to achieve. I wanted to be that. And obviously recognize that if I was going to change, the change had to happen inside, not outside. These changes weren't going to come to me. I had to make them happen. It's one of the reasons why making weight loss look easy is really hard. So let's review these barriers again quickly, and then I'll tell you what my strategies were to overcome them. And I'm going to tell you this because maybe there are things that you've faced or are facing. Maybe it's not the same particular barriers, but this process might be good for you, is thinking the same thing, because we're different people. If you have a lack of organization, then maybe that's one of the barriers you've had and you need to get organized. Well, I say conflict of priorities. It's been said, and it's true, you cannot serve two masters. You'll serve one and forget the other. I had a good friend, a business partner, Roger, who every time I'd name a person that we knew in business, I'd say, there's Julie over there. Oh, she's my best friend. Well, there's Tom over there. Oh, he's my best friend. There's Peter over there. Oh, he's my best friend. I'd say, Roger, you can't have three best friends. You can have three really, really good friends. You can have three people you like a lot, but by definition, you can have one best friend. Well, same thing with first priority. You can only have one first priority. What I said was, then my solution to it was that I was going to put myself first. I'm my first priority. Now, some people would say, well, Bill, that's really selfish. What about your family? What about your community? What about your church? What about your neighborhood? But I believe that unless I'm the best I can be, I'm really not going to be of any use to you. I mean, my kids didn't want a father that sat on a couch and ate potato chips and watched TV. I might be there, but I'm not really there for them. I'm not giving them what they want. They want me to take them outside on a hike, teach them how to chop wood, how to throw a football, something like that. They don't want to sit on the couch and watch TV and eat potato chips with me. And if they did, I'm really not serving them well anyway. Same thing with my community, my church, my family, my friends, whatever it is. If you're not putting yourself first, your health first, then you've got the wrong set of priorities. So I believe that prioritizing my life in such a way that I put my health first would increase my chances of success with gastric bypass and losing weight. Dishonesty. I believe that nobody that weighs 400 pounds gets that way without lying to themselves a lot about a lot of things. And I see you shaking your head, and you know what I mean. That's why people can sell magic weight loss pills and no exercise, eat what you want, miracle weight loss cures itself for 3 easy payments of $49.95. That's why I had one of those spy masters that you could do that for, because, and they slide easily under your bed, which is where it stayed most of the time. But, that ties back to the other thought I said, where if I was going to make a change, it had to come from inside, not from outside. No piece of equipment, no magic pill was going to make me lose weight. I was going to make me lose weight. I might use some of that equipment, but I had to be honest about myself. One of the stories that really brought this home to me, 2 years previous to my weight loss surgery, in 2008, my mother passed away. And Alan Austin, a friend, he used to work for me, I hadn't seen him in 20 years. At age 32, Al was tall and trim. At age 52, Al was tall and trim and looked great, looked like he was still 32. Bill, on the other hand, went from age 35, at like I said there, about 220, 240 pounds, to 400 pounds. So I come walking in, I see Al, and oh, Al, it's so great to see you, and we talked, and of course, how you doing, and sorry about your mom, and all that, sure. And then, after a second, I'm like, Al, come here. Hey, man, you look great. What's your secret? And I will never forget the look on his face, the sound of his voice, because he looked at me and he went, I eat well and I exercise? Damn. Don't do that again, Bill. That's what it felt like. I don't think I did that actually, but that's what I wanted to do because, no, Al, I really wanted him to say, well, you come here. Magic pills. If you're good enough to me, I'll sell you some. But there was nothing like that. Al knew the secret, to be honest with himself. When he got out of control a little bit, he steered himself back to control. He was honest with himself. I wasn't able to be. I lied to myself. So, my strategy is pretty simple. Be brutally honest. It's one of the reasons I'm here talking to you today. I had to learn to be brutally honest with myself so that when my wife Colleen here came up and said, Bill, did you eat the pizza that was in the refrigerator? And I went, no. Lying to her, lying to myself. Of course, in my head, I also said, yeah, but I drank a Diet Coke, so it all evened out. Another lie. How many times did you go through the buffet line at the wedding reception, Bill? It's none of your business.
Oh, God.
I would think that's none of your business. I haven't gone through yet. And the truth is, you don't care how many times I went through the wedding reception line and got food. There's plenty for everybody. You don't care. I'm not lying to you. I'm lying to me. I don't want to hear the answer. I don't like you because you asked me an answer that I have to confront. I don't want to deal with the answer. That's the kind of dishonesty I'm talking about. I'll tell you another thing, though, and sometimes this gets me in cross with people in the community here, is I say, I'm honest about this outwardly. I tell everybody that I've had gastric bypass surgery. And I know some people don't like, the number one question they're afraid of is, wow, you look great, how do you lose weight? They're afraid that if they say, I had gastric bypass, people will say, oh, what do they say? You took the easy way out. Oh, I thought you did it on your own or whatever. Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is, you answered that question incorrectly if you said that. Because I will tell you right now, I lost 200 pounds and I maintained it, and gastric bypass is not the reason I lost 200 pounds. It has something to do with it. It's a tool I used. I lost 200 pounds for the one reason, and the one reason only, that you can lose weight. I brought in less calories than my body burned up. I had a calorie deficit, and as that deficit accumulated, my weight dropped. I love when people ask me that question. I mean, if they're going to ask somebody that question who says, I don't like that question, send them to me. I'll talk to them. Yeah, bring them to me, man, because I will tell them, and I say exactly that. Bill, how do you lose weight? Well, the only way you can, I took in less calories than I burnt up. I do that by eating well, which allows me to get the nutrition I need to fuel my body at less overall food, so I eat less calories, and then I exercise, and I burn even more calories, and it totally comes into a deficit, and I lose weight. And they go, oh, okay. So then, the fact is, I like to exercise, I like to work out, so I didn't have a problem there. My problem is I ate a lot of food. I just ate a lot of food. No particular food, all food. So I had that problem is I couldn't manage how much I ate. So I had gastric bypass. And by then they go, oh, okay. And if they had any inclination of saying to me, oh, you took the easy way out, you didn't like it, first I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that they're just uneducated about it. If they're just being mean, well then, heck with them. They're not going to be my friend anyway, I don't care. But if they're uneducated, I'd rather educate them. I once told somebody, I don't know if I can remember how I said it, but I am a freight train running downhill of unrepentant excitement about my journey. So if you come up to me, even with an inclination of wanting to say, oh, you took the easy way out, by the time I'm done jumping up and down in excitement about what I've achieved, you're going to look awful stupid going, well, you took the easy way out. And the audience around me is probably going to applaud when I say, no. And they're going to boo this guy. That's what I mean by honesty outward, too. I tell the story because it keeps me honest inward. I like this one, I call it the ladder story. Who's the shortest person in here? Anybody 5 foot tall? Sure. How tall are you? 5? All right, so if we were in a typical home, 8-foot ceiling, I can paint my ceiling by doing this, because I'm 6'1". You can't reach your ceiling, can you? So if I went to your home, and I went in there and I looked, tell me if this makes any sense at all. Wow, you just painted your ceiling. It's awesome. I love the color. I love the style. I love the technique you did. That's just so fantastic. Wait a minute. Is that a ladder I see in the corner over there? Did you use the ladder to paint your ceiling? I thought you did it yourself. You took the easy way out. Does that make any sense? That's ridiculous. Of course not. No matter how much she wants to reach the ceiling, she's 5 foot tall. She can't paint the ceiling standing there. You can say, come on, bring your intestinal fortitude together. Make it happen. Will yourself to do it. You're not going to grow an inch. You're not going to grow a half an inch. Right.
Love that.
Did the ladder paint the ceiling for you? That's the best tool to use at all. That's right there. No, your ladder didn't paint the ceiling. Your paintbrush didn't even paint. Nothing painted. You painted the ceiling. You used tools to do it, and you used tools that were required to make up the differences in your own particular abilities. I couldn't manage how much I ate. I didn't have any problem working out. I actually didn't even have too much problem picking the right foods to eat. I just ate a lot of them. I used the tool to do that. And there is nothing about that that's the easy way out, simple, or should be disappointing to me or anybody. I love the ladder story. Yeah. Truth is the truth. We all know it. We try to deny it a lot. But being brutally honest, I believe, was the way of me overcoming these tendencies to sometimes be dishonest, or at least in the time frames when, or the projects that I failed at, and dishonesty was a part of it. I decide, careful, brutal honesty ahead. It will increase my chances of success. Barrier number 3, poor planning and implementation. Failing to plan is like planning to fail, and so on. Or another one I like is, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Trouble is, I was on a road, I didn't know where I was going. I was 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, who knows where that was heading. I didn't like the destination. So I realized that I didn't really have a plan. And in my business practice, whenever a project failed, it was probably pretty much that. Like I said before, I didn't have what's due day to day. I didn't have the kind of dependencies and what I have to do before I do the next thing. I didn't have it all thought out. When you don't plan, you're terribly inefficient. When you don't plan, you waste time and energy. You can't deal with unknowns and contingencies. So my solution was to develop a pre- and post-surgery nutrition and exercise plan. I'm going to tell you about the pre-stuff in a second, but one of the things about planning is, like I say, it breeds ownership. I work out all the time. I don't have a trainer. I don't use a trainer, but working out was never my issue. I follow an eating program or an eating plan, but I really don't have a nutritionist. I take advantage of nutritionists that are available. I get their input, but I do not say, my nutritionist, Julie, gave me this eating plan. Because then it's Julie's eating plan. I have Bill's eating plan. I take that input, create it, I own it. Ownership means I'm more likely to, I can't, what does she know about me? She's got unrealistic expectations, I quit. I'd have to quit myself, and I'm not going to do that. Planning allows for the ability to adapt and modify your plan, your direction. Often told story, I used to tell this in business all the time, and I don't even know if it's really true, but it's really, it really illustrates what I'm about to say. What am I? Illustrative. Yeah, it's that, of what I mean. And here it is. Apollo 11, if you remember it. Some people weren't born in 1969, but I remember it well. Went to the moon, came back, right? An 8-day mission. Just 7 years earlier or so, President Kennedy had made the statement of what this project was. We're going to send a man to the moon, land them there, and return to Earth safely. Really succinct, clear definition of a project. This is what we're going to do. Then 1,001 engineers got together and figured out how to do it. And in those 8 days, there were 691,200 seconds. They had calculated where that rocket would be every second of that flight. 691,200 individual, here's where this will be to the moon and back. Truth is, it was where it was supposed to be only once. And that's sitting on the launch pad waiting to take off. As soon as they hit the go button and the rockets fired, it was off course. The temperature was a little different than they estimated. The winds came from a different direction. The fuel burnt at a different rate. All those variables that they said, well, I think this, I think that, and put into the calculations were different. And so the answer was different. So instead of taking off this way, it took off this way. But because they knew they wanted to hear, it was easy to correct back. And they continued to do that for 8 days. It didn't land exactly where they thought it would land, and it didn't splash down exactly where they thought it would splash down. But at the end of those 8 days, what happened? We launched a man in space, sent him to the moon, returned him safely to Earth. 100% accomplished. 100% of the project was delivered exactly on goal, though only 1 over 691,200, you figure out the percentage, it's very small, of their plan was on track. I just rode my bicycle down here from Columbus, Ohio, as I said, and 6 months of planning for that. There are 33 million inches or so between Columbus, Ohio and here. I had laid out a course that covered all 33 million of those inches. My overall goal was to ride safely from Columbus, Ohio to Cary, North Carolina in time to be able to speak at this conference. 100% accomplished. I'm here, I'm safe, and I'm speaking. I was only on the inches that I designed about 25% of the time because I took off, got a little bit down the road, and there was a traffic jam, and I thought, you know what, I'll go around it. I got down to southern Ohio a little bit and went on a road and it was full of gravel, and my bike has 23 millimeter tires. I can't ride on gravel. Had to find a route around it. Got down to the river, the bridge is closed, et cetera, all the way down here. Went to one mountain and looked at the horizon. I swear it was like this. I need wings. I don't have them. Made a different plan. So I achieved my goal 100%. Just like in weight loss, I achieved my goal 100%, though the pre and post surgery, nutrition and exercise, that's a mouthful, exercise, I didn't always do what I said. In fact, on the exercise side, as I was having surgery and getting into it, I thought, I'm going to run again. I can't wait to run another marathon like I did when I was 19. Ends up at 60, my